Social studies article. We're going to go on to page 3. Yesterday we began reading the section called Good Citizens, and we learned about the common good, which means you're doing something good for everyone, about the importance of obeying the law and how if you don't, there are consequences that you must pay. Today we're going to continue talking about good citizens, and one of the things that good citizens do is they vote. Citizens who are about their communities must vote. Voting gives people a chance to choose their leaders and make their voices heard. It is a right and a responsibility. Voters have the responsibility to learn about issues they are voting for. If you do not have all the facts, you may find out later that you voted for something you didn't want. In some countries, people are not allowed to vote. Americans are lucky to have a voice in our government. So again, you should vote for the leaders that you want to make the decisions that are good for our community. Keeping promises. Most elected leaders must make an oath. An oath means a promise of office before they start their job. An oath of office is a promise. Leaders must do the best. The oath of office is a promise leaders make to do the best job they can and uphold the laws. Elected leaders who do not keep their word may be removed from office. Serving on a jury. One important job American citizens have is to serve on a jury. A jury is a group of people that makes decisions about court cases. If you are chosen to be on a jury, you and your other jury members are responsible for making decisions that are fair and equal. To serve on a jury, you must be at least 18 years old and be able to read and write. So a jury are the ones who listen to the case in a court, and they're the ones who decide if the person's guilty or innocent. Volunteer. Good citizens who want to give something back to the community can volunteer or donate their time to help others. Many people volunteer because they want to help others in need. There are many ways you can volunteer in your community. Food banks collect canned goods for deliver foods to people in need. Other programs teach people to read. Some volunteers even build homes for people. The list of volunteer jobs is very long. If you want to give back to your community, talk to your parents about where you could volunteer. Some people really appreciate your help. All right, now we're going to read the section called the President of the United States. In order to be president, there are certain things that you must have in order to qualify. So the President of the United States. Every 4 years in America, an exciting event takes place. The people vote for a leader. The President of the United States has the important job of making decisions in our country. Of course, not everyone always agrees with those decisions, but the President tries to do what's best for the common good of all people. What does it take to become President of the United States? Do you have to be rich? Do you have to need a college degree? Believe it or not, the Constitution lists only 3 requirements for being president. So if you want to be president, you must be at least 35 years old. You must have been born in the United States, and you must have lived in the United States for at least 14 years. So those are the 3 things that you need to become president. Be 35 years old, be born in the United States, and lived in the United States for 14 years. In 1951, the people voted to change one thing about being president. Now, a person may only be elected president 2 times, so you can only be president 2 times. Many U.S. presidents were once lawyers, but many had other jobs too. George Washington was a farmer and a general in the army. Lyndon Johnson was once a teacher. Ronald Reagan was an actor. George W. Bush worked in the oil business and owned a professional baseball team. The office of a President of the United States has been held by some pretty ordinary citizens who want to make the country a better place to live. That seems to be the most important requirement of all. So these are some fun facts about presidents. It's called Presidential Fun Facts. The oldest person ever elected was Ronald Reagan at age 69. The youngest person ever elected was John F. Kennedy at the age of 43. President who served the longest time in office was Franklin D. Roosevelt, 12 years, from 1933 to 1945. President who served the shortest time in office was William Henry Harrison for 31 days, from March 4th to April 4th, 1841. The only person to serve 2 terms not in a row was Grover Cleveland from 1885 to 1889, and then again from 1893 to 1897. The first president to live in the White House was John Adams. Do you want to know more about presidents? The library has lots of books you'll enjoy, and you can ask your parent or teacher for permission to search the internet. So again, if you go here, we had talked about good citizens, and remember, in order to be a good citizen, you have to do the common good for your community. You must obey the law. You should vote. You should keep your promises. You need to serve on a jury. Those are the people who decide who is guilty and innocent in a court of law. And you should volunteer, meaning that you should do some work for free because you want to help somebody else out. And then for the U.S. president, remember there's 3 things you need to have in order to become president. You must be 35 years old, you must have been born in the United States, and you must have lived in the United States for 14 years. Go ahead and get your questions out and do the questions on the board.